Hi everybody, Judy Tuttle here for day 23 of Casing Through the Catalog. Today's featured project is the Silly Safari bundle that is on page 83 of the catalog. I'm going to switch to my hands right away here and we can tuttle up and get started making this project together. So on page 83 is the Silly Safari bundle, and this bundle consists of the stamp set and the punch. The punch is 1 7/8 circle punch. I don't know if you can see that very well. 1 7/8. It was on back order or not available for a while, but it is available now. And we will be using this on our card today, as well as the Silly Safari Suite. Okay, we're going to be casing this cute giraffe card right here. Thank you big time. I think that's super cute. Now, I did one thing ahead of time. And that one thing is in the notes from Stampin' Up, they said to create this card, you needed a mask for the giraffe's head and neck. And so I have made that ahead of time. I just made this out of a Post-it note. I just stamped it so that part of the head, here, I'll show you what I did. So I stamped it so that part of the head was on the sticky part, so that it had something to stick to my project. So I stamped it kind of like that. So here's the sticky part right here, okay? So it has something to connect to when I put it on the card. So I'm going to put that, and then I just fussy cut that out, okay? So that's going to go right there. All right, so very few products needed for this, which is kind of fun. I would call this a simple card. I think Stampin' Up called it a casual card, but it really is pretty much stamps, ink, and paper. Okay, so I'm going to start with a piece of basic white. Actually, I'm going to start with two pieces because I'm just going to make up something for the inside, if that's okay with you. And they recommended that right away that you stamp your giraffe in Memento black ink. So ooh, I need to go back out on that panning in, don't I? Okay, so here we go. There we go. Just notify. Oh, yay! I think you missed my morning Facebook Live today, Carol. So take a look at that. I did my first two cards of my online class for the week using the Boho Vibes suite. So that'll be fun. Maybe you've watched it already. Okay, so here we go. Here's my giraffe. I'm going to stamp it in Memento Black. I'm going to take my mask that I just created and cover it up here. There we go. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do with my giraffe is that I'm going to clean it off. I'm only going to ink up the neck part just a little bit here. So I'm going to ink up my neck part. And this is kind of why I need that mask on there. I'm going to line up my lines and create the rest of my neck right here. There we go. And then I'm just going to leave that on for just a moment. Okay, so I might have gotten a little crooked there, but it'll be fine. I think the circle and the cinnamon are going to cover that space up anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my Mossy Meadow ink, I think is what we use. Let me grab it. Maybe I did grab it. Oh, you know what? I used it today on my Boho Vibes. So let's see if I can find that over here. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Mossy Meadow ink. And I have the two you didn't. I just started, Carolyn. Okay, so we're going to take this leaf design from Silly and we're going to just stamp it. And it's okay to stamp off in places. We're going to willy-nilly stamp it like he is in the safari, right? Some solids, some Stampin' Off going on here. Um, there we go. And then I'm going to take this more kind of elephant ear leaf and do the same thing. Kind of fill in some spots here. Overlapping. With some of the other leaves. There we go. Maybe just a little bit there. What do you think? Let me look at my sample here. Nope, that looks pretty good, I think. And then I decided for the inside, since we don't know what the inside looks like, let's do some leaves coming up from the bottom here. Get some of these others. There we go. What do you think? Do you like that on that bottom edge there? Okay, so we can go ahead and adhere this to the inside of the card. And let's go ahead and do that right now. Oops, almost put that on the outside. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do all my stamping. Is that okay, guys? So I'm going to do the Timid Tiger. I'm going to do my sentiment, which says, thank you big time. And this basic white is 3/4 by 2. Inking it up with Timid Tiger. I'm going to go in here, stamp it right like that. And then we have this little kind of tick mark stamp. Hi, Chris. Thanks. I am loving it too. So I'm just going to stamp tick marks kind of randomly here. There we go. Fill in right there. I think a lot of these are just to add a little texture to our circle that is going to be behind our sentiment. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to grab my circle punch and see if that is enough. I think I need a little more up at the top there, don't you? So let's grab it again and add a few more right up here. I don't want them all to be like sitting on top of each other, but there we go. Let's do that. I think that'll be perfect. I'm going to come in here with my 1 7/8 inch circle punch. This comes in a bundle with this giraffe silly safari set. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead on here and diagonal cut the ends here just slightly. Just casing what they did in the catalog, not really trying to reinvent the wheel at all. How about I go this way? Cute, huh? And then they took some linen thread and put it behind that. So let's turn this over, grab our linen thread. I'm just gonna do kind of a faux bow thing here behind it. Doesn't have to be super exact or straight or, you know, all the stuffs. It just is to add some character behind that sentiment here. Okay, I'm gonna add a piece of tear and tape to kind of just hold that in place. There we go. It's meant to be kind of messy. All right, and then this is going to get attached to my Timid Tiger circle with a couple of dimensionals. Okay, and then eventually I'm going to add this onto the card front. But before I do that, I need to color my giraffe here. There we go. I'm just going to put that off to the side. I'm going to come back over here to my card front. Oh no, I'll miss you, Carolyn. But I'm glad you're feeling good enough to go back to work. That means a lot, right? Okay, I just grabbed a whole bunch of blends here. What do I have? I have an ivory, which it looks to me like what they colored most of the giraffe with. And then I have an SU 700. It's kind of a flesh color, so some of the dots are out of that. I have a bronze, the darker dots are out of that, and then I have a pecan pie, which looks like it might be the hair on the back of the neck and some other parts here. Okay, so let's start with the ivory. And this looks like what most of the giraffe is colored in here. Just guessing, really, because they told us what blends they used, but they didn't tell us where they used them. So, just going to color the whole giraffe. I think this giraffe needs a little pink inside its mouth, too, for its tongue. Every time I've seen a giraffe's tongue at the zoo, they seem to always be pink, so I may improvise that a little bit. Oh, I'm just going around all these little spots on my giraffe. So is this a bundle that you even considered? Before I was doing casing through the catalog, it was not one I was considering. But I'm glad I got it because it's fun to play with things you didn't think you would like and then realize, wow, I really like that. Okay, so now I'm going with pecan pie, and I think I'm going to do dark along his neckline here. So I encourage you guys to be a part of my email list so that you can get the recipe cards for the cased products. At the end of the month, I'm going to send out all of them in one big document. And so it'd be worth it for you to be a part of my email list and you can get them all. I also have been sending them out like every 2 or 3 days or so. So here we go. This is SU 700. It's just kind of a fleshy color. Got a little pink in it. Adding some color to my dots. There we go. Do I want to do any more up here? Maybe another one right there. All right, and then I'm going to grab my bronze. the remaining dots with bronze. Cute, huh? I think he needs a little. I'm gonna grab my Flirty Flamingo blend just for his tongue and his mouth there. There we go. There we go. Okay, so almost done here. I'm gonna add this to the front of my card right like that. You know, anytime you use blends, I guess that's why they step it up a notch and maybe call this a casual card, because it's not just stamps, ink, and paper, right? But it really isn't very hard to create. Okay, and then this, thank you big time, is going to go right here. And you see I'm kind of overlapping the neck where it didn't exactly match up perfectly. I think it's okay. So I'm going to grab thank you big time and maybe twist this over just a little bit that way. There we go. Add some dimensionals to the back of this. There we go. So there'll be a link in the description of this video to join my email list so that you can get the recipe cards, which will include measurements and products used for all the projects that we have cased. How cute is that? Okay, it's everything in me not to add some embellishments to this, but since we're casing the catalog, I'm gonna let well enough be alone. Do you guys like that? Is that fun? Here, I'll zoom in just a little bit so you can see it just a little bit better. I think he's pretty adorable. Thank you big time. And then I added the little leaves at the bottom on the inside there. So I hope you enjoyed this. Tomorrow I will be here at 11 for the next 2 cards, which will both be fun folds in my online class to go this week using the Boho Vibes suite in the annual catalog. So I'll see you here at 11 tomorrow, and I hope you're enjoying me casing the catalog. Let's compare. What do you think? Did I do a pretty good job here? I'll go back to my hands. It's ridiculous. Okay, here we go. I think I did a pretty good job, don't you? I love it. Okay, so God bless everybody. I will see you here tomorrow at 11, and thank you so much for spending some time with me. It's always an honor. Bye-bye.